Hi, everyone. I guess I should be introducing myself as Nurse Lindsay. um, I just wanted to actually share a little bit about my experience. I have, since the beginning of me posting that I was going to go to nursing school, I have been pretty open about much of my experience online. Not all of the deets, but just enough to where I tend to get a lot of questions about my experience, and I decided I'll just make a video and answer many of those questions. So, at the time of this video being posted, I am a new graduate from an associate's degree program that is awaiting taking my RN NCLEX. I'm currently licensed as an LPN and moving on into my new career with a new position and a new job title. We got new letters at the end of my name, babe. Like, come on. So, I'm just really excited to actually be here in this space and be in a position to openly share about how I feel, my thoughts, and everything else. So, I did join a 2 year program. I did start the program in January of 2023. And that is a 2 year program. Within this program in the state of Alabama, they allow you to sit for your OPM boards. So I didn't do a bridge program. I don't have the experience of a bridge program. I got accepted into the RN program. Now I know a lot of schools are different as far as like how they accept their new orientees or their new students, new cohorts, whatever. I had already had all of my prereqs done from at least 10 years ago when I initially did attempt nursing school. I dropped out for personal reasons, not necessarily the school process, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. But I dropped out for personal reasons. I was young, I was fresh out of high school, I was a teen mom, and I just I lacked the appropriate tools to be able to process what I was experiencing in nursing school and the life changes that I was going through at that time. Now, one of the number one questions that I get asked is it hard? I think that difficulty is certainly subjective. I have never really had issues academically. I've been an honor student. I've always made good grades and stuff like that. Behavior, we ain't gonna talk about that. But I never really had that problem academically where I struggled. To me, I always looked at learning as being an inside job. Someone can put information out there for you and put it in your face, but it's your responsibility to gather all of that up, especially as an adult. To gather all of that up and make it make sense to you. Know how to ask your questions, know how to move appropriately. That being said, a lot of people ask me what's the best thing that I can tell them, the best advice I can give them. And the best advice that I can give you is to make sure, for one, before you even start this journey, that you have a strong support system, especially if you have kids. I became a single mom during this journey. Having a support system was imperative to the completion of this journey. I think you're going to have quite a challenge and many, many hurdles without that. Secondly, I want you, from my perspective, this is my answer to the question, to focus on studying your weaknesses. If you know you are strong at something, math is not your problem. You know how to give a head to toe assessment. You know good things about cardiology because you were a CNA at a cardiac floor. You know about patient care techniques because you did whatever other task you have done. Whatever, put that aside. That is not information that you need to focus on. You need to know how to hyper focus on exactly what it is that you want to know and learn. And the number one thing that helped me with that is to conceptualize each topic that I was being introduced to. So that meant if I was studying heart strips, this is a real experience. During clinical, we had a patient come in. One of the biggest things I wanted to see was the EKG reading. What is it showing me? What can I learn from this information? And seeing the signs and symptoms in real life helped me to create a story for each of the topics that I learned. I did this with everything that I knew. If I knew I wasn't strong at it, I tried to look at it like it was a movie, like it was a story. That was the best way for me to understand it. Of course, I love to read. I read all of my books and all of the things and never really had a problem. But that's how I learned. I made sure to utilize other resources from time to time because they created infographics that made the material easier to study. Another thing that you want to do is to always, always, always read the rationales for even the questions you get right, because sometimes you got it right, but you were stuck between two different choices and you didn't really understand how you got it right, and or you got the questions wrong and you need to know why you got it wrong. So in this case, studying what you were good at can kind of help you understand a baseline or a pattern of thinking, but it'll also give you the information that you need to know how to improve yourself. So always study your weaknesses. Um, Again, because if you're so focused on what you're already good at, you miss what you are not good at, where you're lacking, things like that. The most difficult thing for me, question, I don't know what number we're on, but another question is, what was most challenging for you? None of the topics were very challenging to me. Like, it wasn't hard. Yes, I had to think. Yes, I had to work, and the amount of assignments was tough. But the biggest challenge for me was balancing all of my life. I had major transitions that happened throughout this journey, and I had to know how to rely on myself, how to become resilient within my being in order to stand strong, to continue to push forward, and also to do great and excel beyond what I could have ever imagined. So I really learned how to dig deep within myself. I had to get comfortable with delayed gratification. I had to get comfortable with the pain and the thought processes that I was experiencing through life as all of these things shifted for me, because I wasn't able to do this and I wasn't able to do that, and I had to get used to having to sacrifice. And one of the biggest things that they told us was you will sacrifice a lot. Another thing that I did was in this state they allow you to do what they call a fast track program, where as long as you're actively enrolled in an associate's degree program, you can begin your bachelor's without having to have your RN license number. So, because even though I don't have an RN license at this time, I have one more semester before I finish my bachelor's, because I began that degree process while enrolled in the associate's degree program. If your state allows you to do this, just know that the bachelor's program is usually not as demanding as an associate's degree program. So again, that work was easy game. And I just also want to say thank you guys for being present along this journey. It was not easy. It was not easy. I have crashed out and I have lost my everlasting mind many times. There were many days that I drove home screaming, hollering, and crying with nobody to call. There were many days where, and still to this day, where I can't even get into talking about the things that I see, the things that I witness, that are just so beyond normal that the average person, they would never understand what you're talking about. They don't even have it within them to stomach these experiences. So it's tough, and it puts you in a position where you really have to question, is this something I want to do? You have to know exactly what you want. Me personally, I got into this not just because I wanted to be a nurse. I never fantasized about that. I always wanted to help other people. I always had compassion. I always had it in me to care for other people. And my background is extensive in alternative therapies. Many of y'all can attest to that. It's extensive. I wanted to be able to add more value to my business in whatever ways possible. I also wanted to create a life and an experience for myself where I was stable, where I had options, where I could do other things, where I could be flexible. So my background in alternative therapies was definitely a strong point for me, and it gave a little essence to my nursing style. But overall, I had a goal that I know that I wanted to stick to, that I know that I wanted to achieve, and I set forth to do that and did exactly that. You cannot view failure as an option. Failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. If you have it in you to have a weak mindset like that, you need to step back and reconsider. If you have fear within you, go ahead and address that. If you want a major change in your life, you're going to do it scared anyway. You're going to do it regardless. Don't worry about that. But one thing for sure, and two things for certain, failure is not a motherfucking option. That's why when I set forth to do something, I achieve it. And you have to believe that for yourself too. If there's any sort of advice, that's one thing I got to give you. That's one thing I have to give you. You have to have that tenacity. You have to have that resiliency, because nursing school is fucking brutal. You might run into people that, instructors that are absolutely mean, that you feel have it out for you, that you feel don't fully support you. And again, that's where you got to have that backbone within you. Be confident within yourself. If you're young, you're 18, whatever, you're fresh out of high school, hold it together. Find your tribe, find your people, find your support. But failure can never be an option. Your support system is going to have to be strong, and you're going to have to get people on your side. And if you cannot have that, therapy, journaling, I got into all of that. I had to get back into it. I had to dig deep, as my daddy told me. Dig deep within myself. I have 3 kids that I have to take care of. I have a whole life that I had to fund and finance out of nowhere. And if I can do it, you can too. Trust in the process. Go through it. Struggle, make those sacrifices. There were many days and many nights where I just didn't know why I was doing what I was doing. And, it was always people that was like, you gonna do good. It's going to be okay. Trust me, in the end, you're gonna be so proud of yourself. You're going to be so happy. And then, honestly, I kept telling myself, one day at a time. One day at a time. And every day it was a new day, and it was another time. Even if I was having to do an assignment that took me 3 hours, it was one day at a time. I one day at a time did all the way to this motherfucking graduation point. You hear me? One day all the way to this graduation point. And can't nobody take that. That was work that I did. When you all the way down and you deep off in your studies, and you so deep, you like, damn, I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. I gotta do X, Y, and Z, mow the damn grass, cook a food. I don't care. You dig deep. You tell yourself failure is not an option. Study smart. Not hard, but smart. Study smart. How you gonna study smart? What I said, study your weaknesses. Study your weaknesses. Okay, trust me. I'm an honors student, y'all. My last course I just finished with a 95. Hold up. Because, bitch, who else gonna do it? 95. Okay? I'm not just telling y'all no BS. I'm telling y'all how I did it. Maximum intention and concentrated effort. I promise you, when I locked in, I focused on it. Make it a movie. Make it a story. Let it entertain you, all this new information. And let whatever I'm telling you be inspiration for you to be able to move forward, move on, and enter into something that you probably was inspired by. Hell, if I inspired you, you know what, babe? I love you. I love you. I love you. And if I inspired you to do something different, listen. Again, I love you. I love you. I love you. Know what it is that you want. Know what it is that you need to do in order to make this happen for yourself. Get the general eds out the way. Start now. Start some fucking where. But procrastination will not be your enemy ever again. I hope that I just make a move, babe. Make a move. That's all I got to say. Thank you for listening.